Hello, good evening. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. Doing well myself. Enjoying the day. Hope you're having a pleasant day out there. Um, I got a couple videos for you, and it's amazing how people say stuff. I'm gonna start with this guy that calls himself a pastor, and how instead of focusing on the environment of the activity of violence we have in this America, he wants to push the blame on a demographic group of
And if you
people.
had $500,000 or more sitting in a rainy day legal fund in our nation, I would like them to be Christian American men.
You know, I'm 100% on board with taking Joel and everybody else that thinks like this, and we'll just give you one of them. Texas, Mississippi, I don't know, one of those two. You can have it. You can secede. We will cut off all political relations with you and also financial relations with you. Good luck. You can form your own country where you can do this. Like, go right ahead. You will not be missed, and this natural experiment of watching you catastrophically fail would be very instructive. And then once everybody in your miserable country is dead, we'll just take the country back, and happy, prosperous people will once again start to live there. But wait, there's more.
We are being conquered, and nobody forced us into this. Yes, some wicked politicians that we voted for.
This is great replacement theory stuff, essentially.
We are
not like explicitly with respect to Jews, because that, from what I understand, that's kind of the original idea of great replacement, but it's also been expanded to other racial groups as well.
voting in voluntarily our own demise and giving the heritage of our fathers to foreigners instead of
Your fathers who are overwhelmingly not Christian.
our children. This is a very, very wicked thing, and it does not matter if the politician in question is running as a Republican who's memorized the Declaration of Independence and wears a cowboy hat and a Texas flag shirt at his rodeo, photo ops, or if he's a blatant socialist in New York. In either case, if your name is Omar or Vivek or Zoran, you're not American.
Well, at least he picked one Republican. Vivek Ramaswamy was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. Like, what? In the previous video, he had the problem with the immigrant. And now in this video, the person born in the United States isn't an American. It's just such a loathsome sack of shit.
And you can be here and behave as a guest, but you cannot hold political office.
Vivek Ramaswamy was born in the United States. Like, what? I need to. I will not go out of my way to watch any more of his content after this, but I really do want to know, what the hell does he think legally makes you a United States citizen? I have no idea.
You cannot rule over the native citizenry of this nation.
The native citizenry. So when does somebody start to actually be an American? You can't be born in the United States and be an American, apparently. And he's a children of immigrants. It's just going to be farther down the road. He's not a first generation. What is the number of generations in which you actually count as an American? Thomas Jefferson's mother was born in England. James Buchanan's father was born in Ireland. Chester A. Arthur's father was born in Ireland. Woodrow Wilson's mother was born in England. Barack Obama, his father was born in Kenya. And Donald Trump, his mother was born in Scotland. That last one would be great to throw at Joel and watch him squirm with that, because I'm sure he's a Trump sycophant. So none of these people, by his logic, and he would be more than happy to throw out and say Obama's not an American, I'm sure. But this goes all the way back to founding fathers and the president of today. It's a guy. I hate this guy.
Absolutely not. And any true red-blooded American who's celebrating these things, or even passively sitting by and allowing these things to happen,
like the way you do with Donald Trump,
is a traitor to
or Ted Cruz, who was born in Canada,
God and country.
It's actually doubly worse for Cruz because his dad is from Cuba. His mom was the only one who was a citizen, but she was living in Canada at the time, and apparently she lived in the United States long enough that even though he was born in Canada, he was eligible to be, well, he's a natural citizen and eligible to be president. If you're born on a military base, to American soldiers, you can also be president. There's just like there are these weird technicalities.
No more women in any function of societal leadership.
This is the master plan. And
I think we have
like this.
I think we have seen the curse unfold of feminism, and it's not enough to just say, well, okay, well, let's just keep men out of women's sports and we'll be okay. Or even to just say, okay, well, all right, we went too far. No more women in positions of combat. No, also no more women in Congress. Right? No more female state reps.
So just, there's no way he thinks a woman should be on the Supreme Court, but he didn't explicitly say that in the previous video, although that was just a pretty short clip. So all of that is just the build up to this video of Joel saying that Christian parents must teach their children never to go near black people. I'm just gonna let the entire thing play out. I have a lot to say, but I'll let him get all of it out and not interrupt.
If you're a Christian white parent who loves the Lord and loves your children, that you need to have the talk. The talk that we're referencing is the talk that takes your children according to their maturity at the proper time, the appropriate time, and says, there are certain parts of town that you cannot go. And there are certain people that you cannot be around. Right? If there's someone who is black in our church, and they've been in our church, and we know them, and they love the Lord Jesus Christ, great. We're not talking about that person.
Yes,
But we're talking about when you go into a crowd of people. If you go into a crowd of...
I said I wasn't going to do this, but that's because I didn't think about this aspect of what he's saying. Oh, if they're a member of my church, then I know that they're safe. Every single week, we get a breaking story. Pastor arrested for multiple instances of child molestation. So no, being a member of your tribe is no guarantee of anything, Joel.
strangers, and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger. Them's the facts.
30, I'm interrupting again, but that's because I didn't, once again, I didn't write anything down specifically for this. 30 times, there's nothing you can find where there's 30, where you can get a number like 30.
And it is actually a failure of your parental duty. White parents, please hear me. If you teach your children growing up, if you lie to them and say, all people and all races of people in our country are the same. They are not. You are actually depriving your child of factual, truthful information that could save their life.
I have this particular view. It may not be very popular. Some of you may think that it's not right. It may actually be a little bit harmful, but I think that Joel is what I call like a real racist. I think that the real, genuine racists are the ones that intellectualize it, because we all have, the vast majority of what I think people perceive as racism, I think is just our basal, tribal, unfortunate human nature. Groups of people do not like out-group members, and that is true across any kind of identity. It can be ethnicity, it can be race, it can be geography, it can be whatever. Every person, every single person has that within them. There is no one single group that is inherently more or less so of that than any group of people on the planet. I didn't used to think this, but quite a long time ago, it was actually during Trump's first term, one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s children, was it one of his sons specifically, was asked, do you think that Donald Trump is a racist? And he said, no, I think he's racially ignorant. And when I first heard that, I kind of thought, you're just trying to be political. But I assumed that somebody like him knows more than I do, or is more wise than I am. So I thought about what that means, and the more I've read about the psychology of human behavior, the psychology of political and moral disgust, and like the motivated reasoning behind how we defend our innate instincts for the better and for the worse, I've pretty much become convinced of what I was telling you earlier. We don't tend to use logic, statistics, or reasoning to form our beliefs out of complete agnosticism and nothingness. What we do is we define and defend and rationalize our beliefs, our biases, really, using those tools, which is just reinforcement. And I think the real racists are the ones that dive into that rhetoric, rather than...
He's right. And I'm going to show you.
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest more.
Over Tunisia, and I was shocked.
Nigerians now.
Watch Slay Queen Nigeria, only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From them.
Okay. I want to show you something right quick.
Criminals are using tools that allow them to roll back odometers for a few in our church. The answer is absolutely not. Why? Because the characteristics that mark black culture as a generalization, in the same way Paul's talking about Cretans on Crete, they are evil, murderous, violent, bestial people. They steal, they kill, they destroy, they look like Satan. Criminals are using tools that allow them to roll back odometers for a... They kill, they destroy, they look like Satan.
I'm gathering myself first before I say something. That's why I got quiet. This guy literally describes his culture. Not mine, his. What is he talking about? The first thing is, why are you discussing black people? Because the main guy, Douglas Wilson, who has that church in Moscow, Idaho, let me pull up the name of that main church that they affiliated with. It's called Christ Church, and the co-founder of Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches. Okay, that's it, in Moscow, Idaho. What black person is going to be up there in Moscow, Idaho with you anyway? Okay? I have not met one black person that want to go to Idaho, and maybe the other lady was telling me about travel. Maybe she want to go to Idaho. I don't know. But outside of her, who wants to go to Idaho? I don't. I have no desire to be in Idaho. Because before I travel, even in these United States, I do my research, okay? And I'm not going to put myself or my family in any situation that they should not be, okay? So I want to know what black people you're talking about. You got to be talking about black immigrants, because you're surely not talking about black Americans. Because I don't know no black Americans that want to go up there with you with your alt-right haircut. Because that's what he got. He got an alt-right haircut. We know by that alt-right haircut you got with your own, you won't have to say nothing. We know the haircut, bro. Like I say, you're giving yourself away. And listen, this term Christian nationalist, let me tell you where that comes from. They know the term white nationalist is a very bad term, and they don't want to be put in that category. So, white supremacy going to remix it. So say, okay, let's not call ourselves white nationalists. Let's call ourselves Christian nationalists. Okay, and if you read the scriptures, Jesus did not teach nationalism. He didn't teach that. That's not what he taught. So, right there, but my position, you are not capable of being a Christian because of what you have done, what you continue to do. Let's go back to this guy here. Let's rewind what he had to say.
And how they act, they are sinful to the core. They, as a generalization, in the same way Paul's talking about Cretans on Crete, they are evil, murderous, violent, bestial people. They steal, they kill, they destroy, they look like Satan in how they act.
The fact they say they're looking like Satan, like, who? Oh, God. Please look in the mirror. Look like Satan.
They are sinful to the core. They have besetting sins that are like fatherlessness, sexual immorality. They molest children at a high rate.
No, he didn't say that about the children. Do y'all know the FBI has stated that the profile of the one who's going to do things with children or have possession of child, images and all that stuff they should not be having is a white male in his 40s. They the one be doing these things to children. Black men rank the lowest of doing that. Why? Because we find out you did it, so we going to jail. We may take we probably snatch your life from you. At minimum, put some work in on you. Because how I feel, you don't touch no child. There's too many women out here for that. But every time you look up, his community being caught doing something to children or to women or to animals, if you want to go there. Like, why is this guy lying? And he's, like I said, he's projecting. Why did he, you know what? Hold on. Let me get my friend in here. Hold on. Where's my friend at? Let me get my.
You know what? I'm gonna go say this. Watch this video.
What happens if my dad starts trading tomorrow?
How old is your father?
He is 56.
Oh, perfect.
Assalamu alaikum. Thanks to all my subs and supporters who watch, like, share, and comment on the videos. It's greatly appreciated. Anybody who would like to support the channel, the link to my book, The N-Word is No Secret in the Service, is in the description of every video. We also have the Runaway Slave store, link in the description. Go grab yourself a souvenir or something like that. Let's cook.
My name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people with an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds. I think I can do a good done. Location is Stone Douglas in Parkland, Florida. It's going to be a big event. And when you see me on the news, you'll all know who I am. You're all going to die.
And you're talking about demons. What are the demons?
The voices.
Tell me about it. What are the voices about?
It's another voice, the evil side.
Okay. How long has that voice been going on?
Years.
Okay. When did it start, you think? When your mom passed?
It started worse when my mom passed.
The interrogator is quite doubtful of the voices even being real.
Personally, I think you're using the demon as an excuse.
I'm not. I promise.
You could have stopped the demon by getting a prescription for marijuana. You could have stopped the demon by getting a prescription for Xanax. You could have stopped the demon by illegally doing marijuana, which you were doing anyway. You could have stopped the demon by doing Xanax illegally, which you were doing anyway. You could have stopped the demon anytime you wanted. You didn't want to stop the demon.
No, that's not true.
You didn't. You could have. I've given you 4 ways you could have stopped the demon, man. Okay, now you're just
right there, white American, went into a school and killed 17 people. Now you notice that he's sitting there afterwards, no knots on his head, no black eyes, no cuffs on his hands. That's what whiteness does. That's what you call racism, white supremacy, Satanism. White people do not care about kids. This is why he's able to sit there and do that. And these guys will continue their violent streaks. They are inspired by guys like Nicholas Cruz and various others who go into schools. White American men, young, old, this thing going and hurting children in schools, looking for soft targets, shooting up schools, places where there are defenseless people at, small people, places where people are supposed to be protected and learning. This is what these guys do. This is as American as apple pie and baseball. Very violent horror stories in real life. These are violent guys. Due to the sickness in their hearts, they're very hooked on doing things like this. Now we can go on and on, name after name, Mayo monster after Mayo monster, but this is still going on to this day. It has not stopped. This happens every month, people. They may not follow their plan out, but they at least threaten to do this every month. These people will not improve their behavior. Just recently, this month in Massachusetts, this guy right here, Ian Fotheringham, look at this guy. He's a pale cloud of misery. Okay, looks like a mascot for depression. Well, he wanted to make more people feel just like him, and he decided that he was going to go clap up a school. Ian Fotheringham, 18 years of age. He was just arrested this month for threatening to shoot up a school, okay? Threatening to use a deadly weapon in a public building. That's what he was charged with. He told mental health counselors that he wanted to shoot up a school. He was actually refurbishing guns in his room. He was spotted in the woods behind his school called T-Ticket Elementary School, checking things out, laying down his plan, getting his logistics going or whatever. They said that this guy had photos and a journal referencing the Columbine High School massacre. He owned a large 3D printer, which is capable of producing firearm components. Now, he has an attorney. His attorney said that you can't keep our guy. You got to let him out because there were no illegal weapons found. That wasn't him near the school. That doesn't match Fotheringham's description. He suffers from a disease, a form of muscular dystrophy, which is a fatal disorder, and he has a history of mental illness, so this is not right. Let him go. The judge ruled that the charge didn't qualify under the state of Massachusetts, the dangerousness statute. So he was released on a $2,500 bail, placed on house arrest. He wears a GPS monitor. So, he pretty much told people what he's going to do. He's going to do it now, and he's going to do it in the future. He's definitely going to do it. I mean, they got to keep this guy on the GPS. You know what? A guy like this, you got to pretty much put him in a zoo. Put him in a room with a GPS monitor and just throw him some fire. I don't know. Well, that'd be prison, right? I don't know what they're going to do with this guy. Parents claim that they're scared. This is sick.
It shows us police believe that he may have been planning to make his own weapon.
Tonight, school leaders were so disturbed by the former Falmouth High School student's alleged threats, they asked police to issue a no trespass order against him at all Falmouth schools. Investigators say he was also obsessed with the Columbine school shooting.
I mean, it's your worst nightmare.
18-year-old Ian Fotheringham is being held without bail, accused of plotting to shoot up a Falmouth school.
To hear any sort of school shooting threat was alarming.
In August, investigators say they were tipped off by mental health counselors that Fotheringham indicated he wanted to shoot up a school and was refurbishing firearms in his room. Detectives didn't find any illegal guns when they searched his house, but they did find his journal with writings obsessing about the Columbine school shooters and rambling saying, "I hate it here. Dumb expletives should be shot." Then in early September, school monitors told police they spotted the 18-year-old walking by a playground at T-Ticket Elementary, casing the school.
We actually never were told that it was our children's school, that it was T-Ticket Elementary School.
Parents are frustrated. They say they didn't hear about that incident until now.
The communication that we did receive from the district fell short of what I would consider to be satisfactory as far as feeling safe about sending my children to school on Monday.
The concerns about Fotheringham go back to last October. Investigators say the former Falmouth high schooler made threats against the school, saying he was going to hide weapons on the hill behind the restaurant behind the school. The Cape and Islands DA saying a potential tragedy was prevented in this case.
I feel so safe with my daughter in their hands. I want that to be clear. But that's for a normal school day. And this isn't a normal school day. And so I would have liked to see something more.
I don't think that this thug right here is ever going to do anything positive or change his life, but this is an example of the thugs who people think come out of nowhere and do drastic, crazy, sick things at schools, but they didn't. These guys have been in trouble and arrested numerous times usually, but whiteness gets them over. They get a slap on the wrist, they get a pass, even from their own community. So when they do these big things, they don't have a rap sheet, or if they have one, it's not as serious as it should look. Now let's go to the state of Kentucky. Another 18-year-old white American man teen by the name of Michael Tedder. Now this guy, Michael Tedder, right here, he's from a place called Advance, North Carolina, where he was just arrested this month for threatening mass violence against the University of Louisville in Kentucky. He was charged with communicating a threat of mass violence on educational property. Now they say that this guy right here was upset over graphic posters placed on campus depicting Charlie Kirk at that event in Utah, whatever, when he got clapped. He's pissed off about that. He called the university demanding that posters be removed, and after he did that, there was a multi-state law enforcement response. They finally found out who was this guy calling. They traced it to his residence in North Carolina. He was taken into custody, held without bond. Something about these posters, they're like pictures of this guy, Charlie Kirk, with a bullet wound and a caption saying, "Debate this." The university removed the posters and launched an internal investigation. They don't know much, or they're not saying much about whether this guy actually had all the weapons to do what he said that he wanted to do, or if he had a detailed planned attack. But whatever, he was pissed off about the Charlie Kirk situation, and he wanted to respond with violence. Now here's the deal with these guys. These guys will all go home soon. They'll be okay. There will be no outrage, even with knowing that these people wanted to primarily harm white people or white children. The white community doesn't care about that. There will be no vigilante justice against them. Nobody's going to run down on them like, what happens in our neighborhoods when somebody does something. If the cops don't get them, for whatever it may be, it may even be grounded in negativity. They might get, there's a threat on your life. These people don't worry about that. That's why you have guys who can so-called do things like shoot at the president or shoot at the person that was going to be the president down in Florida. Where's that guy at? Ain't nobody push him yet, you know what I'm saying? But that's what goes on. This is another sign that these people just want to be racist. And hopefully, man, these people keep this thing, keep them in your, you know what? I don't want this to happen to any innocent human being. You know what I'm saying? At all. There's no reason why somebody should be at a school or a place as a soft target and some Mayo monster should come shooting at them or shooting them up. I wouldn't care who it was, what color they were. That shouldn't go down. But the thing is, these people that have the power to do things, they have the power, they have the voice, they have the race and the color on their side. They don't put effort into stopping these guys or making sure that these guys get in some serious trouble.
Nope. He's absolutely right. And he said, but that's what them two men said, right? So you thought that was the only incident. Watch this. Shout out to Infrastructure Trucker.
They finally released the picture and identity of the guy who firebombed the Mormon church earlier today, and he also rammed his vehicle into the church, exiting his vehicle, unaliving 2 people. This is Thomas Sanford, the guy that's responsible for all those casualties and victims Earlier today, they say that he's a registered Republican and he goes to MAGA rallies regularly whenever he has the time. He's no longer doing that now because he's unalive during an exchange of fire with law enforcement. But this is the guy who is responsible for all that havoc. This attack wasn't politically motivated. They're just releasing details on this individual. Condolences to the families that lost those lives, especially this is a traumatic situation. No one should go to church in fear. Our school, you should be able to go to church and praise, whether people don't believe what you believe in or not. You should be able to, have praise and fellowship with your members.
And you already know on this channel we hold racist Caucasian people accountable, because if we don't, who will? And before we start this video, if you don't like black people, black issues, black talks, get to stepping. During the civil rights movement, the KKK targeted black churches because they were hubs for organizing their resistance. The most infamous case was the 1963 bombing of 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, where 4 little girls were unalive. But that was just one of over 100 bombings, burnings, and attacks on black churches across the South in the 1950s through the 60s. Schools that integrated black students were also attacked with firebombs, shootings, and mob violence. Between 1995 through 1996, more than 30 black churches were burned in the South, many linked to the Klan or white supremacist sympathizers. The fires were so widespread, the government formed the National Church Arson Task Force in 1996. Make that make sense. And before I spaz out in this video, rest in peace to everyone that died in their church. But I saw a lot of news outlets, I saw a lot of media outlets saying this was an attack on Christianity. But how ironic, when black churches were being shot up, when black churches were being bombed, nobody gave black people that grace. Nobody gave black people that mercy. Hell, they didn't even consider black people Christians because the color of their skin. Tell me I'm lying. But Charlie Kirk fans so worried about HBCUs. Charlie Kirk fans so worried about black people. Open your eyes. Caucasian people are bombing Caucasian churches. Caucasian people are shooting up Caucasian churches. Damn. Run the tape.
Details coming down after a shooting in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, about an hour north of Detroit. That's where at least 4 people have been killed, 8 injured at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Police say the gunman crashed his car through the front of the church during service, started shooting, and then set the house of worship on fire. Right now, officials are searching the charred building for more victims. The suspect, now identified as 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford, killed in a shootout by police. The truck you see on your screen is allegedly his. Within just the last hour, officials updating us on the investigation.
I can confirm at this time that the FBI is now leading the investigation and is investigating this as an act of targeted violence.
The Michigan State Police continues to respond to several locations throughout the community as we receive additional bomb threats at other locations. Please continue to stay vigilant, and if you see something suspicious, say something.
No, I don't know how many people are unaccounted for at this time. We do know that there are some that are unaccounted for. I'd also like to acknowledge the heroism of not only the first responders, but the people who were inside that church at the time. They were shielding the children who were also present within the church, moving them to safety. Just hundreds of people just practicing their faith. Just extreme courage, brave, and that's the type of community that we are.
Make that make sense. And the cold part is they found IEDs and other explosives. And right after that, right after this incident, it was more bomb threats in the area. And look, I have all the compassion in the world. I don't have a hatred bone in my body. But Caucasian people are shooting up Caucasian churches. Caucasian people are bombing Caucasian churches. And what do you hear? Silence. Charlie Kirk fans was loud when he died. They wanted everybody to bow down to Charlie Kirk, but they quiet about these school shooters. They quiet about these church shooters. They quiet about these mass shooters. And I can go on and on. Tell me I'm lying. And this article is by Fox News. It was published September 28, 2025, 8:59 p.m. last night. Thomas Jacob Sanford, the man police said crashed his truck into a Michigan church, set it on fire, and shot churchgoers in a violent attack, is a former Marine. An eyewitness said chaos erupted Sunday when a truck
crashed into the church, and a driver opened fire on worshipers, forcing families to flee as bullets tore through the congregation. About 150 people were inside at the time, including many families with young children. The witness said, the crash was so loud, some thought a bomb had gone off. Panic spread as worshipers ran out the back of the church into the parking lot. Make that make sense. They thought a bomb went off because a bomb did go off, but I'm starting to notice a pattern when it comes to these Caucasian shooters. I'm starting to notice a pattern every single time. These news outlets, they neighbors, they always say the same thing. Oh, he had PTSD. Oh, he had mental health issues. But how ironic, when black people commit crimes, they never get that same grace. They never get that same compassion. They never get those same excuses. It's always, oh, they animals, oh, they thugs, oh, send in the National Guards to the whole black city. Tell me I'm lying. And look, I have to say this, America is in trouble. While the CIA, the government, and the FBI was so busy waging war on black people, on the black community, on the Black Panther Party, on the Black Liberation Army, while they were so busy waging war against our people, the whole time their people, Caucasian people, are turning on the system. So many Caucasian people are waking up from the matrix and realizing that they've been bamboozled the whole time. So many generations caught up in propaganda, but now the tables are turning. And they didn't expect this type of civil war. This is not white versus black. This is Caucasian versus Caucasian. Damn, the game is cold. And before I go, I have to say this. I have to speak from the heart. And this is my opinion, only my opinion. I feel like Caucasian people will never have peace in this country, no longer. And this is only the beginning. You have to think about it. Go back to the past and look at what they did to our ancestors. Look at what they did to our elders. Look what they did to the black community. Just look what they did. They bombed our churches over and over and over again. The FBI was involved. The government was involved. The CIA was involved. And now look, the tables have turned. They are now bombing. It's Caucasian people that's attacking their own people every single day. But they have the audacity to talk about the black community. Meanwhile, every day on the news, it's their people. Tell me I'm lying. So to the black people, look, go get your popcorn. Grab your popcorn, sit back, and watch the show. This is not our fight. This is Caucasian versus Caucasian. I'm out. But before...
Yep, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. So that debunked about violent black people. But you won't hear Trump talking about this. You won't hear J.D. Vance talking about this. You won't hear the administration talking about this. You won't see him in his office showing the picture of the suspects doing this to people. Donald Trump he won't show them suspect. He won't show the suspect that shot up in North Carolina bar because it don't fit the image. He won't show this about this suspect that shot a Mormon church practicing their faith. They won't, but yet this man set up there, two so-called pastors said that black people are violent. Where have black people taken violence, that much violence, on a whole and set bombs? There might have been a couple mass shooters recently that have happened. That's true. But it's been ever since Charlie Kirk, his unaliving, they've been going on a rampage. See, so they've been declaring this war. They marched to the streets and said, us white men fight back. Now, yeah, we see how white men fight back. Now we see how they fight back. We see, definitely see how they fight back. And now it's showing. And now they're stirring up stuff with black people. They always do that. It's always to shift the blame. Let's shift it on this thing. But you have all this stuff making major news. No one and everybody, and just like they said, what about the guy that just unalived that man in Utah that the whole world's got to bow down to? You ain't hear no more about it. And the guy was a registered Republican that did it. They trying to point at whether it is whatever political side, left or right. No, he was He was MAGA. See, this should be a lesson to people because we have a mental health problem in this country. And you don't have these men as so-called pastors in a little white enclave in Texas and whatever other place. They're not dressing the big thing. You should tell your children. No, you should tell your children about mental health. You should tell because evil is not within one race or one group or two or three groups of people. They're not teaching the Word of God. They teaching their man doctrine. And anybody fool enough to follow up them pastors, you're a fool. You a damn fool. Because it don't make no sense. You see it happening in your backyard. You run one say, and somebody don't like something because you have a disagreement. You in a peaceful setting, no other nationality of people around you, and you get some fool doing this, shooting your kids ain't safe. But they ain't gonna put no school detectors and police like they do they? They're not gonna be out there in the suburban schools, no, because that's those black and brown kids. That's why the Nicholas Cruz them got away with it. That's why that young boy up in Michigan, it was another situation up in Michigan. His parents bought him a gun. White boy, and bought him a gun. His parents went to prison, jail over it. But they bought him a gun. He unlocked a couple elementary school teacher. And no one gave. But the blacks didn't have anything to do with that. The Latinos, the immigrants, and all these other people. His parents willingly went and bought him a gun. And he unlocked people that look just like him. It's been like that for the past before it was around the Columbine time, right? This been from 1999, 1998, from then on. And Caucasian white people have not addressed this. They won't turn to others. Let's focus on that way. Meanwhile, you got a whole situation stirring in your community, but you're looking to other people. You're going up in other people's spaces. Wonder what's happening. You're looking over, but you're not looking in your backyard. Most Caucasian places, they don't want to tell you this, that when they break in the vehicles out there, they stealing. Why don't you tell them that how much they stealing Cadillac off of semi trucks? Tell them about how one couple people here have trying to get power off a copper line and was found dead, electrocuted. Tell them about the construction equipment that you stole. Tell them about that. Tell them about you going in some of these way out in these country, in these rural areas. And they bust in the garage and steal a whole bunch of tools. Had these pastors talk about that? Because most of the time it's Caucasian people who's on meth or some kind of substance abuse. But some people won't call this out. It's happening across America, and I know it's in your town and some your little rural areas, because it's happened all over. They just don't want to report about it. They way out there in the country, breaking in their homes, breaking their sheds and garages. They pull up in a pickup truck and snatch the stuff right off in a trailer. And what is so making the black person the boogeyman is a white dude on drugs right next door to you, right down the hall, and there's one low class dude. That's all he got a family that's all a couple buddies. That's all they do all day long. As the brother said, tell me if I'm lying. You want to talk about this, but you want to criminalize black people. Just not too long ago, they were down here next to a power plant down here. Some Caucasian men this is the ultimate thing. You know those things that the electric towers that they put up over 1,000 votes. They use these things so they can kind of prop up the bar. Do you know some bitch went down and stole a crane? That thing must be having worth the whole about 50 to half a 100,000 just to get that crane. Them cranes expensive for a utility company. They stole the crane. Who does that? Caucasian people, white people. Some white people do that, but they don't want to talk about that. Ain't no black person gonna take no crane. What black person you don't know how to drive a crane? crane, you don't. But yet, with the enemy, how many times you out there in the little rural areas that they have sell pills, meth? How many drug treatment? They don't tell you about the drug treatment program. When I was a driver, I used to have to go. Most of the places I had to go out was in those rural areas to pick up the people to bring them back here to Columbus, Ohio. Oh, there's people that got addictions around Columbus, but you'd be surprised how many on the outskirts there is. There's up. So when people have addiction, what do? Like anybody, they gotta feed that addiction. So they'll go and get metal, scrap and everything off your car, off your air conditioner, on your house and everything. Guarantee it's a white man doing that. Taking the copper and trying to cop it up, because this is what they do, and take it down into the aluminum yard. Or they'll take it and take something, had the Cadillac diverted because whatever the old trucks they had that made with the cast iron steel. Who's doing that? That's just the theft part, the addiction part. And then it's the mental health part. Why don't the white community dress about that? Why don't they dress about the suicide rate out there? Instead of blaming on other communities, trying to worry about other communities when you have it in rural communities in rural America. I had that shut on my channel. What's up with that? It's so easy, and now you're seeing what the Bible says. They turn the swords on each other. We've been turning the sword on each other too, but now they feel the generational pain, like they starting to feel what we feel. The ones who being complete ignorant, like them fools, them pastors. They think they safe. And they don't understand a spiritual warfare is right around them. I wonder what they're going to say to one that call himself pastor when he stand before Christ. Was he doing it for the white race? When the time's up on earth, you gonna, and they say, where is so-and-so in the book of life? No. He's in the other place. Because he never repented. And he kept his whiteness until he died. And that's what they're going to try to do. They'll be just like their clan members. But any person was a clan member that never repented, they're not in paradise. There's no white paradise with white stuff like that. There's no black or brown paradise. When they going to learn? Alright then, take care, be blessed. See you on the next video.